the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. The ideological engine of the Sangh Parivar. The organization that shaped Narendra Modi's rise, and a group that can be compared to a jinn or to Proteus from Greek mythology. Why? Because in mythology, these beings are capable of shifting shape and exercising extraordinary powers. The RSS over the years has constantly changed its definition. It's sometimes a political organization, sometimes cultural, and other times just a body of individuals.
So we are categorized as body of individuals.
And this non-registered cultural organization has now allegedly shown up in one of the most unlikely places, official US lobbying disclosures. According to a PRISM investigation, the RSS appears as the entity on whose behalf a top Washington law firm, Square Patent Box, was hired for lobbying. And in just the first 3 quarters of 2025, the firm received $330,000 for this work. All of this for paying lobby members of the US Senate and House of Representatives. The RSS has denied it, but if the papers are true, it raises staggering questions. Why does the RSS need a foreign lobbying campaign? Who's paying the money? And what does this mean for India's democracy and for India-US relations? Let me explain. Before we go further, today we are talking about influence, about who gets access, who shapes narratives, and how power often operates away from public view. And this moment is a reminder of why independent journalism matters. Just this week, the union government announced a 26% hike in advertisement rates for newspapers, a move that inevitably increases the leverage that government holds over the media. At the News Minute, we have chosen a completely different path, one that depends on readers and viewers like yourselves and not the state. So as a counter to that 26% hike, we are offering a 26% discount on TNM subscriptions. It's our way of saying if you want journalism that asks hard questions about lobbying, power, and accountability, then help keep it free and independent. Scan the QR code on your screen, or you can click the link in the description below. Now remember, a new episode of Let Me Explain drops every Saturday, and you can write to me at lme@thenewsminute.com with anything you want to say to us. Now back to the story. The RSS is India's largest far-right Hindu nationalist organization. For 100 years, it's been the ideological fountainhead of the Sangh Parivar, the parent body of groups involved in education, social service, and politics. The Bharatiya Janata Party, or the BJP, the ruling party today, was born from the RSS, but in the US, the RSS is viewed very differently. Experts, human rights groups, and many policymakers see it as an organization linked to discrimination and violence against minorities, especially Muslims. Its early leaders praised Nazi Germany and fascist Italy. An RSS member assassinated Mahatma Gandhi. And its affiliates were at the center of the Babri Masjid demolition in 1992, which triggered some of the deadliest communal riots in India's history. So the RSS has an image problem abroad. But according to PRISM, despite this image problem, RSS is trying to lobby in the US. In case you're wondering, lobbying is an act of trying to influence decisions made by government officials. Now think of it as professional persuasion. It's done by companies, non-profits, foreign governments, or special interest groups who hire lobbyists who are experts at talking to lawmakers, like members of the US Congress. The lobbyists try to convince lawmakers to support laws or policies that benefit their client. For example, a solar power company might hire a lobbyist to convince Congress to pass a tax break for renewable energy. Now, in India, lobbying isn't formally recognized. It happens, of course, but largely off the books behind closed doors and without any structured disclosure. In the US, lobbying is legal, regulated, and completely normal, as long as everything is declared openly through official filings. And it's those filings in Washington that suddenly threw up the name of RSS. A disclosure by Square Patent Box, one of the biggest lobbying firms in Washington, showed they registered on Jan 16, 2025 as a lobbyist for the RSS. Not directly, but through another firm that's called OnePlus Strategies. In the first 3 quarters of 2025 alone, Square Patent Box received $330,000 for this work alone. The stated lobbying issue is US-India bilateral relations, and later introducing the RSS to US officials. But here's the catch. The firm registered this under the Lobbying Disclosure Act, that's the LDA, and not the FARA, that's the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Why? Because FARA is stricter. Here, the firm would need to disclose every meeting, email, call, and transaction connected to this work. Under the LDA, almost none of the transparency is required. Experts quoted in PRISM's report say that this is a problem because the RSS is a foreign entity. Ben Freeman, a foreign influence expert, told the PRISM that registering under the LDA instead of FARA keeps this influence campaign in complete shadows. Now, both the lobbying firms have not made a comment yet, but the day after the story was published, the RSS did. Its spokesperson Sunil Ambekar wrote on X that Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh works in Bharat and has not engaged any lobbying firm in the USA. That's a categorical denial, one that was carried by many mainstream media. Here's another element that may make the RSS uncomfortable. This is a tweet by the RSS handle on June 5th about the guest present at an RSS event in Nagpur. Lawyer Bob Schuster, who is, by the way, a founding partner of OnePlus Strategies, and Bradford Ellison, an associate at Square Patent. RSS Mouthpiece organizer also carried an article on this. So why were they in Nagpur? According to PRISM's reporting, lobbyists contacted historian Audrey Truschke to gather information. Truschke confirmed to the News Minute that she did receive an email from Bradford Ellison saying that the team was recently retained by the RSS to educate lawmakers. Indian mainstream media hasn't bothered to check after these details have come out. And if we go by the RSS denial, then the question comes up. Will they take legal action against these two firms for pretending to represent them? And this brings us back to the central question. Is everything opaque because of RSS's legal status? The RSS has avoided being legally registered in India since its founding in 1925. It's not a society, not a trust, not an NGO, not a company. And recently, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat said that RSS is a body of individuals.
So we are categorized as body of individuals.
A body of individuals, that's BOI, whether incorporated or not, is treated as a person under the Income Tax Act of 1961. Historically, the RSS has shifted its identity depending on what suited it at that moment. In his expansive book on the RSS, A.G. Nurani notes that before the Bombay High Court, the RSS had claimed that it was a charitable institution under tax law. Before the Charity Commissioner, it said it wasn't a charitable trust at all, but a political institution. Publicly, it calls itself cultural. In tax cases, it said its work was educational. And now, it says it's simply a body of individuals. In the 1970s, when the Income Tax Department issued notices, the RSS had argued that it wasn't earning any profit because all its money came from Guru Dakshina, envelopes of donations to the Guru that was collected once every year. That allowed it to invoke the principle of mutuality, which basically says that you can't make a profit for yourself. So Guru Dakshina was exempt from tax. But if the RSS is only a body of individuals and its only income is undocumented envelopes of Guru Dakshina, then how did the organization hire a major US lobbying firm How did it transfer hundreds of thousands of dollars abroad? Former bureaucrat E.A.S. Sharma has written an open letter asking the Union government's Revenue Secretary to investigate exactly this. If Guru Dakshina money is being used for foreign lobbying, and if RSS itself denies its involvement, then either a foreign entity is impersonating the RSS, or the RSS is operating abroad without any disclosures. Both possibilities demand answers. Now, the Sangh Parivar, of course, is massive. It's had several allies and affiliated organizations outside of India. US-based charities have historically funneled foreign funds to Sangh-linked institutions. One report in 2014 said that over $3 million flowed into Sangh bodies through a US charity called IDRF. As you can see, the financial questions have become unavoidable. Now, another question arises. What exactly are the lobbyists doing? When government officials lobby, there's diplomacy. When a political party lobbies, that is political influence. But when an unregistered ideological organization, one that's deeply tied to the ruling party, engages lobbies abroad, the lines begin to blur. US lawmakers are now being introduced not just to the government of India, but directly to its ideological backbone. This affects how the US understands Indian politics, how minority rights concerns are being framed, and how pressure around democratic backsliding is being negotiated. If the RSS can influence that conversation, the implications can go way beyond image management. The story is still unfolding, but the questions are already very clear. And here at the News Minute, we will keep complete track of it.